truth to
Final day!
They have a scope
Final day! Match
on
win!
the teams that are around you. I think that's the most important thing that it took away from that, because
Game number 16!
before you get to the point of like
Let's go Blacklist International! Sa mga hindi pa nag-share dyan, share na natin. Lagyan natin ang caption. Hashtag Blacklist on the circle.
points he made in that interview.
Papaswerte naman. Bigyan naman natin ng magandang magandang
over there on this.
suporta yung mga ano natin.
We'll see, but of course here we go, game 1 of day 4 for the World Invitational East, and after these 5 games we'll be crowning our champion. Is it going to be Valdez?
Seems like that will probably be the case, but it's
still an ongoing race for the top 3 currently between the position of Navi, Xavier, and right behind him is going to be Zeus, Geek Fan, Blacklist International. We'll see if they can get up there, but not only that, Imperial, we also have the race for the MVP currently of the event. Martin is first, but man, the damage of Frankie is so far out there compared to the rest of the team and the rest of the lobby too. If he gets a great day today, he might...
King of the North, let's go! King of the North, let's go! South Karen dyan. Uy, sa mga di pa bang follow na tayo, comment tayo, exclamation notify. Maraming salamat.
Teammate, you have Tixie in the mix, and hell, even one of the other Navi players could show up today, so that's another race we're gonna have to keep an eye on. This phase 1 has popped up and it's a very good start.
Nako, okay na yan. Okay na yan, gitna. Wag lang puro wag lang baba yung zone. Yan na pressure yung Blacklist eh. Pagka yung sobrang baba yung zone. Sobrang southwest, southeast. Okay na yan. Balance yan, balance. Gitna.
The Russian representatives, they have something to fight for. They need to grab
military
as
base,
many points, as many kills as they can if they're gonna overtake Valdez.
That's also one thing I wanted to talk about.
May namatay na kulang na isang player. May nato. Lang yan. Mababa pa lang ng aeroplano yung Blacklist. May namatay na. May napatay na si Kitsune oh. Ng Nicholas Benzir.
So true in the current landscape of the game, which is when a team has nothing to lose, that's when they become scary, because they're just going to full send it, change their playstyle, maybe change their drop or their rotations. So it's very hard to actually pinpoint what certain teams are actually going to do. One of those teams actually is I8. And that's something that we're going to be aware, because now the job's a little bit spread. Despite one player already going down for I8, there could be that little surprise factor that surprises Navion depending on how they play. So just going to be a little bit cautious about that. Though Crypto is going to be pinned down and surrounded by players, so you're going to need the assistance of the two other players of I8.
Oh no!
Going to be Trinder helping out a significant amount, but pushing in the open. No Navi drop relatively spread. That is not push Trinder to trample off. Blade can really be of distance over to Crypto, as he also gets knocked on. This guy's on fire already. He wants to be MVP.
Oh,
he wants to be MVP, grabe.
In the hands of Meku.
Easy 4 kill ko agad. Kansera na. Saan kay Luis? Talam na yan.
Fans are not going to be
happy about that. Namiss ko tumambay dito, sabi ni Glea. Yan, sarap sa'yo, bebe. Basta, hindi mo na ako tinatambayan ngayon. First game guys, first game.
Because it only happened once in yesterday's game.
Ian Jacob.
It is what it is. Dust yourselves off, I8.
Easy 4 kills sa Navi.
You guys and get back into the final 4 games. You can still be proud of yourself. For Navi, they're on a mission. They're absolutely on a mission. And, you know, kind of to extend on what you said as well, Max, earlier on. It's also, we've seen teams in the past, and it's definitely become more of a trend where
pag naka-chicken dinner ang Blacklist,
teams to
RP agad sa viewer. RP ka agad. Kasi yung mga nabigyan ko ng RP, hindi na kiniklaim yung RP. Kino-convert na sa Gcash. May mga RP bloods, may RP na ako. Gcash mo na lang.
Navi last year in the EMEA Championship, when they stopped Kanina Power from getting 3rd place in the last day of the championship, who would ever forget? We've seen Zeus do the same thing in PMPL South Asia, right? To try and secure 1st place. It was the very last game. They had to...
Para ma-shot kayo, dapat meron kayong follower badge at saka sharer badge.
30 points to even get 1st. They dropped.
Ay, si Neo nag-gift ng 1 month pan-subscription, no? Comment kayo, claim nyo!
They knew what was in front of them, so they went for it. And that's kind of what Navi is doing right off the bat. It's a shame that I8 are the victims of it, but at the end of the day, they're in game. It's every team for themselves. Navi are going to do what they need to do.
I mean, I agree with everything you said, but also something to also put into the picture, I would say, is that this is secondary drop for Na'Vi, and if you knew that was...
Ay, shout po kay Jerwin Adjuna, thank you po sa 50. Salamat, sir.
They should not have dropped spread
sana may mga pastor din, para nakasot ka agad.
If you wanted the same thing to happen from yesterday, which you did touch upon, I would have dropped into the U-shaped building up north of military base, and then it would have rotated up north into the hilltops and moved out of that current location.
Sure.
If you have a southern plane path, you should be aware that Na'Vi will drop on you right there.
Oh, nasinto naman ng 100 tons si Jerwin. Thank you. Salamat lang, ne.
Other tournaments.
Bago tayo na ako,
relatively
Sino naka-claim nung fan sub?
Kind of first PMCO as a team. It was their first PMPL this year as a team, right? This is a fresh, hungry roster ready to prove themselves.
Pinakita na yung BL eh. Kahapon malamang nagreklamo yung mga yan eh. Bakit ganun yung mga namin? Hindi man lang na ipapakita dun sa live stream. Papakita pagka mga knockdown na.
Every single supporter from Pakistan is behind.
Makitan, salamat 75 star. Ayan, yung mga nagsisend ng stars. Salamat. Shout po kay Makitan. Thank you 75.
Setting themselves up as we're getting into the blue zone, closing in on phase 1. Xavier have themselves set up on towards the hills and spread around the Pachinki area. Zeus on Potato Hill. Remember, Max, they put themselves there.
Naka-test na lang tol. OP masyado yung test lang yan. Walang ang lit lang. Hindi masyado naririnig.
BTR back a
nakakadikit na sa kalaban, hindi pa naririnig yung sasakyan.
Very strongly just to the south of Potato Hill.
Yeah, but that's what Zeus like to do, right? They like to be very close to Olympus. They want to be able to smite down the opponents when needed. So that's going to be the game plan for Zeus, of course. Though there's one main issue with Potato Hill, and that is it's a wide area.
Adrian,
so
no
if you've got to push on it, you must have some top tier synergy amplification. If you've got bound point, then you should be able to defend it relatively easily.
Salamat sa follow kay Evilia.
We didn't talk too much about the circle, right? It's really
central.
Worth mentioning. It happens all the time. This is the circle that I think.
Puso sa live guys para sa Blacklist. Paulan na nyo ng puso
not really worth
yan.
mentioning.
Para swerte naman. Dapat good vibes tayo.
Over the bridge.
Agent tayo, shoutout.
And we have touched upon this a few times. Send a Fnatic zombie.
Ayun na, BTR. Uy, mag-aapit ang BTR ngayon.
A little bit
Nagulat kayo, nasa top 5 pa yan.
I'm hoping to see them be a little bit more snappy, not only in this first game, but the 4 games after this, because they're one of the teams that could be scary, right?
In the prospect of this event,
they've got nothing to lose, everything to win, and we'll see if they can maybe try and surprise and upset a few teams at the top.
Variables are there. Valdez have yet
tumawa ka muna daw, kuya, para makamanok, sabi ni
still continuing to
wala, hindi ako makatawa kahapon eh. Laging dali yung mga blacklist natin eh. Happy streaming Pop, shoutout na lang sa 4 Generals Clan from Christopher Lan Hub Lopez, salamat sa 50 stars. Salamat Christopher.
Allowed
for generals
to stay ahead of them in towards school apartments. That might worry me a little bit. Geek Fam have gone quite deep into the circle on towards a compound that's across the road from church. This is team that by the wayside across the last couple of days. They still hold on to 5th place.
4 kill ka agad.
But there's only now 17 points dividing them in 5th and Reject in 10th. And if you look back at the previous day's results, Geek Fam started off strong, but day 2, they only got 32 points, and yesterday, they only got 30 points in 5 games.
Shoutout Maro dito sa Water Fun Sukat from AJ. Red Donda.
Oh, look, Imperial. We did have 2 city finishes, right? And when you're looking at Geek Fam, the first thing I think about is not a team that
Blacklist mababa na so, no?
Speaking, but they did get themselves a top 3 in the first city finish. He has now Pollyanna, showing that there's potential, but they played
tama predict ko. Okay, predict ko talaga Rosok eh. Sabi ko Rosok.
And snatched it away.
Tama ako.
Xavier, who knows? But all I'm going to tell you is that I know this circle is going up north. It's going to be right on top of the aerial school
territory na naman ng mga Baldos to.
Of Pachinki itself, so a lot of good positions to hold on to.
Last day na to, boss Maro. Last day na, lads.
Last day na. Teams to really go out at this stage. But there's a big concentration of team down south, so a lot of attention, I would even say unwanted attention, might be actually slowly but surely coming Zeus's way.
Yeah, something they're gonna have
territory ng Baldos to, gago. Lahat ng papasok dyan, pagsisisipain niyang palabas.
To the compound between school and Pachinki. Very good start for them. DRS taking the engagement onto DS. One knock onto ZZP, but returned very quickly by Satan.
AJ biting down a bit more than can actually chew. Matthew Ninja going for the little bit of a
Kumakanser na smoke na yun. Ito gumagawa ka po sa DRS yung mga ninja.
Suporta from up above will try and smite him down. Unfortunately, only get
Kumakanser na,
of
secure
damage
na
on
ng
top
points.
of his health bar.
Nahanap na iso.
Unfortunately, a little bit too deep and find that fight. Sport and Missile will be the two remaining players for DS Gaming. We'll see if they can try and make this go the entire way. But they got
dalawa mo pipitas sa DS, dalawa mo pipitas.
Of the rest of DRS want to push them out, they're going to have to breach it, which I don't think they want to do, knowing they already lost a player and got AJ also knocked down.
DRS are a team that I really would love to see a chicken dinner come out from them. They had their best day yesterday. 41 points. It's still not good enough in terms of what we're used to seeing from them. But in terms of at least progressively getting better, I think it's a solid return to form. But I want to see that Nepal flag raised up in one of these games and seeing DRS.
3-2. Pag naka-chicken dinner ng Blacklist, RP ka agad sa viewer. Dapat meron kayo share badge at follower badge. Kung ayaw nyo na RP, convert ko na sa Gcash.
They have it within them big time. Disengaging away from DS, I think is really valuable and shows that they know they can do it late game. So why look to take an unnecessary fight early on?
It was an uphill battle. I fully understand. That is a fight if they were trying to take it. Like you're kind of crazy.
Okay, Devon.
Just leave it. Not worth it. I enjoy that.
Game ano na tapos Maro? Game 1 pa lang, game 1 hanggang game 5 to guys, hanggang game 5. First game pa lang to.
Gaming itself. There's quite a few compounds. I think they got one.
Yusin na lang Maro, pwedeng yusin
so far. So they're going to be holding on to that position, which I think is great. But there's going to be some more action unfolding soon as the last remaining players that are joining the party a little bit late, such as Fnatic Zombies, Blacklist International, and Na'Vi are slowly...
Pag umabot tayo ng 2,000 views,
but Geek Fam,
dalawang 100 Gcash sa viewer kagad, kahit hindi chicken dinner, sige.
So it is going to be a...
Dalawang 100 Gcash pag umabot tayo ng 2,000 views.
Taking shots is making sure that no teams are going to try and contest and breach on you, so they're just making sure that they zone teams away, which is
kaya dapat mag-share kayo. Make sure na naka-public.
To their last days.
Yeah, I really like that. Geek Fam have... such good decision making when it comes to the circle shifts.
This is 14.
As any other team, if they feel they need to, but if they're confident that their position is still pretty solid in the circle, they just won't move and they'll push teams back. They'll allow teams to kind of rotate around.
RP na lang. Pag chicken ng Blacklist, RP.
They know they are then solidified for the next circle. They can focus on getting
Blacklist hindi magit na. Alam nilang pwede nila makalaban ng Valdez din eh.
Absolutely love that rotation.
Hindi sila masyado makagit na. Kung hindi ba, usually yung Blacklist gumigit na kagad. Ayan na. Ina baka magkabakbakan na ito na. Blacklist! Valdez, baka magkita yan. Pero pwedeng Yala makalaban ng Blacklist. Tara, no choice tayo. Kailangan natin pumasok sa zone. Kailangan natin pumasok. Yung ruta nila, makatatamaan yung Yala. Yala tatamaan.
In Na'Vi's case is because they normally drop Northern George. Now they're back in a typical Na'Vi game, right? This is their rotation. They pull a lot. They used to it. They know the terrain.
Pwede po ba sa live? Pwede! Share! Like, puso lang sa live. Tapos share natin.
So it's going to be a very easy entry point, but it does take a little bit more time to set up, which curbed
position
both of them a little bit further on down the line. No teams already started moving in. Valdez has indeed left Rosock, and they're trying to spread
Day 1 pa lang na high blood na ako sa mga team.
NASA Esports. So NASA, and this is great. NASA, they moved away.
Yung mga hindi naligo dyan ha, magsiligo na. Abang may oras pa. Nilalayuan na tayo ng zone, nakakaramdam na ako.
And Valdez are going to try and take a few pot shots their way.
They still have one player in apartment.
Nilalayuan tayo ng zone, mas marami daw ang hindi naligo sa naligo. Si Alas, nakonta ito na! Napatay. May ambush na yung Yala. Ala, hindi man lang nag-scope si Alas. Dapat nag-scope muna bago pumasok.
The Blacklist, they're getting a bit of an engagement on towards Yala Esports.
Ba't hindi sila nag-scope muna?
Them losing a player, so Yala
still kay Ninang yung Mark Kalumpang. Salamat sa 100 star Ninang.
Rotating a little bit earlier, and it's something of a criticism we've kind of had consistently for Blacklist, that they are just a little bit too slow to rotate into these circles, and because they're not an aggressive team, they tend to get drowned in terms of phase 3, phase 4.
Sinasar Miracle! Yari tayo dyan, nagbigay pa ng points sa Valdez itong mga to. Ito rin mga 3 points.
Fair decent bit. NASA's going to have to try and pull himself a little bit of a heal up. They go the full player.
Oh, miracle!
249 actually does get some pretty big
Tangina to,
damage and a knock.
But that's what
get, and he's gonna get.
Oh, yung magpapasok ng ball sa territory nila. Lahat ng pumasok, kinakain ng buhay. Oo.
And that's something the Valors could very easily turn in their favor.
What do you think about the fact that none of the other Nasser players looked to try and support, or Miracle didn't look to try and disengage away from that building up the hill? Do you think that was a good idea or a bad idea?
I think that's just something, because the buildings are so close to each another inside of a
Nakakaramdam ako mo, maraming hindi naligo. May irapan, rotate na naman sila. Clear na nasa front line yan. Nabi, RC.
I would not recommend it. He tried to commit, didn't work out, but Meku, he's gonna commit.
Nag-sign yung Nabi kahapon eh. Kahapon lang nakuha yung rhythm ng laro ng mga yan eh. Alam na lang kung sinong bibiray nila eh.
Looking to gather more and more coming their way. Reject unfortunately got caught out very spread, which is something that Reject do quite a lot.
Okay na boss Maro, wala pa. Okay na ba? Wala pa.
They would go in their favor. As Tiggs is going to send it, he's going to take himself another 1v1. This guy's been on fire at the start of the game. And he's
sinugod na.
Shot into the smoke, and that's another kill to Tixie. This guy wants the MVP slot.
Yes, he does indeed. But I also think that was a product from Navi of the fact that Fnatic Zombies actually took the kill of Sarah away from Navi. So by pushing onto that area, it's just at least as a 1 or 2 man team, it's really just.
Oh, yung 2,000 nga. Oh, sige. Kahit hindi chicken dinner, magpapajikas tayo sa viewer. Ay, si Duelo. Patay si Duelo.
Left in his own. Sorry, yeah, Duelo indeed.
Ginagawa mo dyan, Duelo, para ka nag-suicide.
Making no mistakes about what they want to do, about how
they
want to control this game, and they are already on 7 kills.
And they were already into the circle too. So, and they got a perfect ridge line. This is so good to actually just peek over that road, get more intel what's currently happening. I would even just recommend them to cross the road and go for the little plateau that's right up west. I think that'll be a great position. Fnatic Zombies. Talking about Fnatic Zombies, a very strong compound. They're going to be able to regulate.
Ganun dapat na maging galaw natin. Ganun dapat tayo ka-aggressive.
Fam is going to be the first one to try and enter through that position, followed by Myth and also Zeus later on down the line.
Ambush ka agad.
So Fnatic Zombies, we want to see them actually get some knocks in a kill feed, because they got a great position to get kills right now.
I actually disagree. I don't think they're in a good position at all. Maybe
kay Jan Patrick Paulino.
Next phase, and I think that's gonna bite them, because all the other teams are gonna maybe realistically wrap around them. They might kind of on that domino.
Kasi talaga sa gusto ko magtanggal ng cam kaso bawal. Kailangan nakakam kami. Maraming salamat pala sa PUBG Mobile Philippines sa pag-invite sa akin mag-restream po nitong tournament ng PUBG Mobile World Invitation. Maraming po salamat.
But I think it could be rewarded more extremely well for the next phase.
Anong game? Game 1 pa lang, Roger. Game 1 pa lang.
But they need to rotate. That's the thing. If they stay there for too long, then other teams are going to get in front of them. That's
the so
they need to be proactive, understand what is more valuable for them. Positional kills, and they'll give whichever they think is the best for them. Zeus and A1 currently be both locked, pinned down on side of Potato Hill, trying to make sure they can move away. The thing is, whichever team moves out first, you're going to get backstabbed by the remaining team. Seems like A1 is the one that's going to try and move out initially. Myth is
si Tyra, binanakasaw mo! Tyra, magpa-MVP ka, dalihan mo! Sasabunutan ka ng Tyra ka eh. Pagpapatayin mo sila, Tyra! Pagpapatayin mo!
This is not a position you want to go into.
Ayaw pakita. Ano nangyayari doon?
Just open to taking all the damage in the world currently.
If you're going to rotate like that into the circle, just full send it into the center. There's absolutely no information. You're phase 4, you're coming in late. What do you expect? Do you expect teams to just let you go and yeah, okay, you're fine there. You go there, Myth. Come on. You can't.
Ayun, pasok sila. Nabi, makakalapan nila!
That proudly representing Algeria, but unfortunately falling short in this game. A1 surprisingly slow rotating into circle, and they're going to have to.
Yan, magte-third party yan!
Oh yeah, they're going for Fnatic Zombies. 6-9 taking a eating actually to the hands of Salam. He's going to be jumping out. I like this. Trying to potentially actually going to be committing a little bit further. Will remain. 6-9 does get aided away by a boot, and now they're going to potentially try and pull the trigger. They still have 4-man crew. Fnatic Zombies got a lot to live up to, and that's it. The fight just barely begun, and it's already over. A1 from Bangladesh out in 13th. 12 teams now remain, but Fnatic Zombies, we said it, a team that's nothing to win could be scary.
Yan, inakdown yan. Tignan nyo yung spread ng Nabi. Tignan nyo yung zone control nila. Ganun sila katitindi.
Crash from A1. That was more of an,
ang lalayo nila.
Crash. They had no choice.
Ayan, wala sila. Tangina, wala rin tayo sa zone. Tangina, yung mga dinaligo, magsiligo na.
Is strong way. They had a really good set of games yesterday, especially considering so many teams around them like
nilalayo na naman tayo ng zone.
Valdez, Dezevi.
Opposite lagi ng position natin yung zone.
A1 still
Armas na yung nabi yun.
They're gonna have to reset themselves for
Gina, naku po, ito na. Hindi na nakapag-deal yung mga
They could have done it when there was actually a knock onto the Fnatic Zombie side, or when they were heavily hurt. Now they have time to heal up. So this is going to be a little bit of a harder play.
There you go, 4v4 to.
Not all together. They're trying to
magagad si Matic, oh.
cluster down to players.
Magagad si Matic.
Also Hamco 5, we need to go for the push together.
Sabihin ko, bagsak din! Patayin niyo yung mga nabi na yan! Masyado lang maasim yan!
And he finds himself one knock for their try.
Apong pa yung mga yan! Yan, isa na lang! Isa na lang! Si Tixie na lang!
And now only Tixie is left.
Nice!
Ready to go, gets the name.
Nice!
Ubos!
Uwi!
So that's going to be huge.
Uwi!
It's going to be a 1v2, but at the end he just...
Asa na yung BTR? Buhay pa ba BTR?
As Na'Vi get eliminated in 11. It was a good start, but unfortunately that breach...
BTR, buhay pa. Ay, ito na Blacklist to. Kinakarni na. Naku po, ano nangyari?
You know what? That compound seemed to be a golden spot because instead of them going to teams in the open, teams ended up going to them. Now we're left on towards DRS. They do get a player knocked down inside the building. They have the circle in their direction, but Yale Esports are waiting, and the Crasher's going to come in. Bandar's going to wrap around on the side now. In comes Ida.
Sino na lang, boy?
Still alive.
Siyos na lang, gogo.
This compound is...
Bakit walang naiiwan sa kanila? Ano, lahat sila pumapasok agad lahat sa zone. Masyadong nape-pressure yung Blacklist. Walang naiiwan kaya pag na-ambush yung mga pumasok, ubos lahat. Ano nangyayari sa kanila?
Regroup with the rest of the DRS squad, and they might just share it, and I think that's okay. When you got so many teams trying to contest it, sharing it is fine, as Valdes bite the dust in 10th place this time around. Now we're down to single digits. 9 teams in the lobby. We're losing another one.
Ito, dito ko lagay.
Fnatic Zombies after a great start in terms of fragging power seem like the late...
Ay, bawal ako magtanggal ng cam. Baka makapirate ako. Bawal.
Great push by Yala. It then gets knocked down. Lovely grenade by AJ to keep things off. DRS, why aren't you kind of pushing on that? You know now you have a... Actually, no, they don't have a body advantage because one of the DRS players...
Top 8, pasok si Jans. Top 8, kaso magbaba pa rin ang points ito. Wala pa silang kill ata. May kill na ba sila?
Smack in the face for Mafia Ninja with that nade from Powerful, trying to get himself a double. Doesn't quite get it, but Bandar, man, the nade game from Yala Esports is out of this world. And now
gumagapang yung dalawang player ng DRS.
You know that's not something Yala Esports gonna allow. They're gonna try and find...
Puso guys sa mga bagong dalayan, paki-heart react po yung live natin. Para sa mga Blacklist International.
And if that's the case, it is definitely worth it. It is going to be someone to the circle. They get the nade once again.
Grenade.
Man, every single player of Yellow Esports got some top
7. Pasok si Zon! Pasok si Zon si Ions! Yun na! Kaso nag-iisa na, paano niya babantayan yung position niya? Nasa open lang siya, malamang nag-i-smoke na lang ito eh.
Is starting to kick off massively. BTR, they have a player knocked
down.
They get that revive off. They still have a full squad up on the edge of the circle. This circle is extremely tricky because it's on a slope on this side and it's out in the open with very little cover.
BTR to, papasiklab na.
This one has a 4-man, and they are the ones that are going to be trying to be the thorn in the side of BTR. Look at the nade games, it's so good, and they just got such a good little overhang. They can...
Ayun, nag-grenade sila. Full squad pa BTR.
They know they're trying to move themselves out of that spot. They know it's scary to stay and remaining at position. You got very little cover to play with.
Sunugin yung mga negro na yan.
Sunugin. It's way easier to say than actually execute. But they're able to get himself over to another stack of trees. So they're trying to get a little bit out of the range of the Xavier as they continuously pushing downhill in their current vicinity.
As they push away from the Xavier, they're also getting close to the protection of the compound on their side. Now they're trying to find a way into the circle with DS up on high above them. Zeus keeping on the edge of the circle down south. It's not easy for them, and I expect unfortunately them to get drowned.
Okay lang yan, nagwa-warm up pa lang tayo. Nagwa-warm up pa lang yan.
John down, we'll see how things will roll out. NASA though, a little bit scared at some point when we had that push coming out from Valdes right into apartment and school. Still able to make it as a 3-man, so that's big. Could we see this team actually get himself a strong performance to start off the day? That would be great. Then a few knocks coming out on Xavier.
Yan, parlimi yung mga anjing na yan!
This rotations with DS Gaming, they still need to push downhill. Other teams already into the circle or downhill will have a little bit of advantage coming their way. So,
wala eh, napitas ng napitas eh.
Almost full control of the north, shared away of course with Yala Esports. So
okay lang yan ha.
BTR to actually take down.
Okay, magala first game pa lang to.
Push that right. They had the vehicles, I'd recommend.
Wala, ang layo natin sa zone. Mahihirapan talaga tayo eh.
But because it's by foot out in the open, they can only just tread with caution.
Okay, Grows in the hands of missile. That is going to be a
Maro, day 1 pa tayo nagwa-warm up eh. Oh, hindi. Pagka first game talaga warm up yan.
Did not play one game yesterday, unfortunately. We'll see if he can try and get himself some good.
Grabe, 4 kill na BTR. Puta, full squad pa rin.
About to go into phase 7 now. Teams are starting to settle for some positions. Not really those that they wanted in the first place. But
mas alas, boss Mara, masyado na pe-pressure blacklist natin. Kaya nga, pumapasok sila lahat, sabay-sabay eh. Kaya mo, balabaya mo, discard nila yan.
It was, he jumped out, made a little bit of audio.
Yung ibang team, di ba, sa atin sa Pinas? Yung may laging naiiwan na isa sa labas in case na mag-failed na yung pagpasok sa zone. May nag-healing sa labas.
And he just got saved actually. Zeus got eliminated. If they stayed alive a bit longer, that was it for the South Korean team. But the Missile will stay up and ready to go. There's now only GE is alive, and we said it.
BTR, Yala, 4 kill na.
For the team.
Ay, 8 kill.
Maybe this is his time where he actually ramps it up in terms of.
Ito na, chicken dinner siguro ng mga anjing.
Centers off BTR is still in play. Yala have to move out of the safety of their compound. And Powerful is going to be the first player to do that for his side. Smokes around the buggy. It's in cover and there's a little bit of a crate there around them.
Okay lang yan. Nag-warm up pa lang ang mga blacklist. Hindi pa sila pinagpapawisan. Pag pinagpawisan yan, yari yan mga yan. Kawawa ang mayayapos. Kawawa ang mayayapos.
As a front line to try and get more info.
It's getting spotted away. GE also taken down. Now they go.
7 kills na yung hype na yun.
Now we're down to only 2 teams. It's Yala Esport versus a 4-man crew here of Bigotron Medallions. 2 teams in Pyramid, by the way, that have got 0 chicken dinners throughout the entirety of this World Invitational East. This is going to be the first time 100% assured. Which one is it going to be?
4v4! Walang awat! Walang awat!
Or is it going to be Bigotron from Indonesia? Only time will tell.
Yala Esports, Bigatron.
Teams, they do deserve it, especially Yala with how they performed despite a poor day.
Pumalibot na yung mga Yalo.
To the final day with purpose as it wraps around.
Kita na ni Liquid, baka pa rin ni Liquid to.
They made for themselves.
Nanggigigil sa Liquid oh. Pinipinahan oh.
Now Ida right behind that car. Believe he popped the wheels, making sure he can't get.
Si Jay bagsak. Ayun lang, nakita si Bandar.
Nice damage onto Liquid, but Liquid's going to be taking some blue zone kick damage just to move in. But they're just getting clustered around by that blue zone. And between
nakuha na yung Rex ang grenade ni Loxio.
BTR.
Yari na, ito na, naabot na ng grenade.
This is so hard for them. That looks like
dalawa knockdown.
Unfortunately not far enough. The idea's there. But Ida, still information is coming the way of Yala because of Ida's current position being so high up. And that's something the BTR really can't deal with.
Nakbo sa Liquid.
Liquid's popped down. Nice headshot.
Habol ko sa blacklist. Lalamang na sa blacklist yan pag naka-chicken yan. Sana lang. Mapapaunaw yung caster. Nasasaktan na.
Great rock to play from. And it is going to be
3-1. Alam na nila.
BTR got a little bit more free real estate to play with. They got more.
Powerful. Wala pa sa zone. Ay, ginagranate na. Tapos. Boom. Boom.
You need to crawl in. And there's nothing you can do.
Anjing na to. Anjing!
Finally games off their very first winner chicken dinner for the World Invitational East.
Hashtag in the pride. They were coming
Benas lang yan.
Yesterday, right? That last game having the full in the late stages of the game. Even Tom said it was a joy to behold. The play style change seems to be flowing.
Okay lang yan. Warm up pa lang tayo.
The end of the day,
puso sa stream guys. Puso. Share na rin natin. Mamimigay tayo ng Gcash ngayon. Sige, dahil mo ba tayo ng 2,000 views?
Lucky, but at the end of the day, they controlled their end result and
credit
to Yala because
100 Gcash.
we're trying to pull that spread. But here's
mag-comment ng
no point
exclamation notify space hashtag blacklist.
They got picked off one by one.
Exclamation notify space hashtag blacklist.
Never gonna work.
Dalawang 100 Gcash, sige.
For Yala, but at the end of the day, BTR the first.
Wala, hindi na chicken. Kung na-chicken ng blacklist yun, dalawa may RP talaga. Dalawa bibigyan ko ng RP. Macam ba itong mga anjing na to?
The lack of information going the way of Yala, and because of that, they went for a little bit of a wider spread. I believe Zuxi was playing behind a tree itself at some point, which was a huge position for him to play from. And then they just had.
Yung mga hindi pa nagsisiligo, magsiligo na kayo! Nadadamay kami!
And the moment the one player of Yellow would go for the spray, find a knock.
Ayun, tangina blacklist nyo, sandwich
would spray him down, and because they spray at the exact same time, the synergy is on point. They just get the knock instantly, and there's nothing Yala could do because